Preston McCall here. Rejection is a strange enemy. We take it so personally and ask ourselves if we are not being too defensive. Then the feeling of not making the grade or some sense of failure creeps in. It's never easy, but it doesn't get easier as an artist. Rejection is just part of the process of getting your work out there. Every artist I've ever known has felt this on some mysterious level. I personally have crashed into it many, many times. Let me tell you a little story about my going to New York and finding a gallery for a one-man show. My sister lives outside the city, some 40 miles out on Long Island. I figured I could stay with her and drive into the city every day and begin looking for a gallery. It was a 2-day drive back to New York and a very long journey. I had a small leather case made to hold my photographs of some dozen paintings which I thought were well done, and presented the work in an impressive presentation. I had business cards, I had a website, I wore respectable clothing, and managed to find a parking spot near NYU and walked a couple of blocks over to the Soho area. It was a warm, sunny October day. I began walking into various galleries and introduced myself as an artist looking for representation. Immediately, I was told they were not looking for any new artists. Some even said I should send a letter of intro to the gallery with my slides and include a returned self-addressed and stamped envelope if I ever wanted to see the slides again. That seemed foreboding and that I should expect rejection. I had the New York City gallery guide in hand and wandered off to the next gallery. I was amazed at how many there were and how opulent and fancy the places were. However, I also sensed I was dealing with gatekeepers and not anyone who had any authority. I kept stumbling about. After a long day of journey and looking, I found my vehicle and drove back out to my sister's. I was feeling rejected somewhat, but knew I had driven thousands of miles to get there and invested a great amount of time on the hunt. So I was not seriously deterred. Frustrated for sure, but fully expected this would be how it was simply going to be. The next morning I was back on the Long Island Expressway, headed into the Big Apple. I thought maybe I should also check out the Chelsea area or 57th Street, where there were many more galleries. Somehow I found parking and began wandering up 57th. It looked like rain and I had no umbrella. I spotted a nice-looking department store named Bergdorf Goodman and wanted to investigate how much umbrellas were. Wow, I had no idea umbrellas could cost so much money. After looking at several, I told the sales clerk that I was looking for something a little nicer and walked out. Then I thought about what I had said and thought I had rejected his help. I was just projecting my own frustration onto him, and really that was wrong. I wandered about and found one amazing gallery called ACA, which was up on the upper floors of a prominent building on 57th. They had a show of some Donald Roller Wilson paintings, which I had seen before in Santa Fe and was impressed again. The gallery director was there by himself and treated me kindly. I explained why I was in there, and he actually let me open my case and show him some of my pieces. He was polite but dismissive. I could read it in his voice when he mentioned I should send a letter with some slides. The old "don't bother me, boy," and go away. Somehow he read my frustration and even gave me one of the expensive Donald Roller Wilson monographs as a small gift. I thanked him profusely and bid him farewell. I met another young woman at one of the major galleries on 57th. She was just a sales rep and fairly new. Somehow we connected and she looked over my portfolio with enthusiasm. Needless to say, the person I needed to see there was gone, probably out of the country or impossible to reach. I took her card and wandered off. 57th was incredible. Great galleries and a definite feel that was really the place to really hit the big time. Another fruitless day of looking. I returned to my sister's and relayed my adventures to my encouraging sister. Well, after another couple of days, I'd been through many of the galleries in Chelsea and Soho. Rejection everywhere. It was near lunchtime, so I stopped into a good-looking pub in Soho and sat at the bar next to a guy who looked like everyone else. We began talking, and he told me he was the director of another gallery down in Soho. We chatted a while about being painters, as he was one also, and he asked to see my portfolio. He then invited me back to his gallery, and we continued our fun discussion. After several hours of lively discussion, the owner came in and he introduced me. An hour later, I had a December show booked. It had only taken me 85 galleries, and if it had not worked, I was determined to keep going. As I drove away that night, I was elated. The moon was full and coming up in the east. I saw a definite smiling face on it for once. I took all of that rejection and faced the dragon until he submitted. I was in. The show was a success. 1,000 people attended. I sold some work for more money than I'd ever sold paintings. The response was wonderful. All the years of hard work and rejection seemed to float away. I held in my hands the fruits of my own success. Needless to say, further success was just as elusive as always. No repeat show, as the gallery was slow pay, and I even had to get the police involved to get paid. Oh well, at least I had the show and convinced myself that I just had to keep going. Today, after selling some 750 of my paintings over the years, I'm still trying to find a good gallery to show my work. One I do not have to own. It is hard work and never easy. Does the rejection bother me? Honestly, I admit not nearly as much. You just have to keep on keeping on. Whatever you do, keep painting. More to come about the life as a painter. These naked artist exposure videos are my way of giving back a bit to the other painter artists who are trying to get recognized and earn a living off of their hard work. Hit the like and subscribe buttons, as I appreciate all the support. If you have any questions, just email me, and always keep painting.